Okay, guys. It's been a while, so I'll be doing a quick trade review. You guys know I've been away for a while, right? For a little conference we had in Kigali, right? So when I came back, I was able to catch this beautiful SMC setup trade here on BTC. Of course, most of you saw this move. It's a beautiful trade, and yeah, we're able to catch this one, right? Sold all the way to this guy, added to my 25%. So it was a 1:6 trade, right? I'll show you guys how I caught this one, but it's clean, it's obvious. You can see the move, right? Then for this, BTC was selling all the way down, and I think I posted this on Twitter, on X, right? Someone asked, how did I get this point of interest that I wanted to buy from? And you can see price came, tapped into it. I was expecting price to move from this region all the way, take out this region to this point of interest for a sell continuation to the downside, because on this particular structure, of course, the market is bearish. But what happened? Of course, let me show you guys how I got this point of interest that I took this trade from, which, right, that market invalidated like this, gave me a V1's profit. Okay, look at this. If you go to the left hand side, I love buying from what's called, let me delete this so you guys see how I got that. I've taught this several times. If you look at how BTC has been trading, a lot of imbalance movements. BTC trades a lot from imbalance. You can see this move right here. Then point of interest, imbalance, point of interest, right? You can see this move right here. Okay, and of course this particular point of interest has been, this particular imbalance has been mitigated already. You can see when the market created this imbalance right here, it went up, then all of a sudden the market mitigated the imbalance. So definitely when prices come into this region, it will take it out. When price bounced from this one, mitigated this, push market to the upside, this one has been mitigated. I see a lot of people still find it, trying to trade off this region. Market will take it out, all of them. All these guys will be liquidity if market is coming back down, and that's exactly what happened. Market came back aggressively, took this. So this was my point of interest. I was looking around this region when the market shifted structure from the upside. You see that clearly on the daily and the weekly time frame, right? So this is a clean imbalance region right here, and we have another one below, just like this one we saw here, that has been mitigated. This one is clean, this one mitigated, this one clean, this one mitigated. Okay, so what happened on this region? Of course, market was coming into this. I knew this region would be taken out as liquidity, right? I think I was not even in the market when market. I was not even on my chart when market took out this region. But I know that I had a point of interest right here at the mid level of this imbalance, right? So I will just mapped this area. Stop loss would be below that far candle that created the imbalance, and this is how I got my point of interest for that trade. And of course, I entered aggressively on the trade because I was targeting short targets. I didn't have long target. I only wanted market to buy, make a pullback, and I will tell you why I needed that pullback. Okay, so this was the point of interest, and let me drag it all the way, all the way down, all the way down here. So if you look at that, you see that this was the exact point of interest, right? Right above from. Stop loss was just below the order, right? So market has been buying. If you go to the daily time frame, right? So let me take out all these drawings. You see that when we had a sell, now understand the market structure very well. Understand the market structure. This market created a sweep of this high, right? Swept the high and came down, created a bearish move. This was the previous low that gave this high. Market took it out, closed right there. Another pullback to the upside. Market made a bearish move to close right here. Okay, so what you have here, the structure is bearish. What you have here is this. You have a low, a high, a low, a high. Market created another low, right? You have two swing highs, right, that has given a break of structure to the downside. Okay, so it's simple and it's clear that the market is bearish, right? So this was what market did. So the market created another low. Now this was the previous low. We had a pullback and market swung all the way down. So all I was expecting, you see, when I was buying from this imbalance, was market to at least buy from a 4 hours imbalance to create another swing high so that I can continue my selling to the downside, right? So this was why I bought from this imbalance, which market was supposed to expect, but there was no buy momentum. We had the first 4 hour that market candle tapped into, we had a rejection, but all of a sudden there was no force, and you can see a point of interest, a level of imbalance around this area that I was expecting market to tap into, and also it also respects support and resistant region, right? So it would have been a good point of interest for this sell if we had market pulling off from this region, right? If I see this something like this, I would definitely take it again, right? So this was the move I was expecting. The imbalance was clean, the point of it was clean, but market did not respect that region. The behavior did not happen, and of course we get to see that happen, right? That's why there must be a loss, right? You can never get it every time, because the market respects a certain behavior, but most times it does not follow that behavior. That's why your strategy would not play out 100%. You see missed entries, you hit stop loss, and of course you make wins, right? So this was how I traded this and failed. But this one was a beautiful trade. If you look at this on that daily time frame, I was telling you that the structure market has created this move high, low, high, right? And we had two swing highs here, and of course there was a trend. When you have high, low break, market made a new high, a low break, it has created two touches, has already created a form of what, trend line, right? Two touches has already started creating a form of trend line. So I was looking at that trend line on the 4 hours time frame, very clean, and market is creating these levels of this kind of movement after the break of structure to the downside. Market was creating a tiny order flow region was set. There was an imbalance waiting to be mitigated, and of course this corresponds to this. So I was timing this region, it was corresponding to the trend line, the point of interest was clean, and it's a beautiful trade, and market automatically went there, tap into that region, and you can see the trend line, bearish trend line created here, and tap. So now for those of you who are looking to catch trades, follow the trend. The market is bearish. We have seen a 4 hour imbalance that market has taken out. So what other point of interest are we expecting? Now all you need to do now to understand this market structure is to draw the trend line. Of course, if you look at the weekly time frame, where I was even buying from, exactly where I was buying from was the midpoint of this imbalance. But you see market disrespecting this imbalance, trying to fill all completely, but going to lower regions, right? So what do we expect if market has created this form? A lot of people will say, okay, let's have market come to this other block, let's have price tap into this, and let's see a bullish momentum to the upside. This is a huge trade, and of course I'm not a swing trader. This is a huge trade, buying from here all the way up here. It will not take 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It may take weeks, right, for this movement to complete, right? But before then I want to see this trend line taken out, right? When we see this trend line taken out, then of course if market makes a movement to the upside, and I would also want to be careful, right, because market has taken out, you can see this sweep, a high, a low, a high, the market shifted structure on the weekly time frame, right? We might also see, if we don't see a pull to the new highs, we might just see a pullback for market to continue, because market has created a low, a high, a low. We might see a swing, a lower high, then a lower low, right? If the buy momentum does not come from any of this region, you can see this double bottom here. If this midpoint of this double bottom, the market does not buy strongly, takes out this trend line, and we see that momentum will keep longing, right? Okay, so all you just need to do is to look out the short-term reactions and look at the long-term structures, right? Higher time frame structures. So for me, on this higher time frame structure, the market is bearish. On the overall structure, the market looks bullish, right? But it has taken out this trend line all the way from this other region, right? Market has taken out the trend line on the weekly time frame, coming all the way, right? You can see the trend line has been taken out. So we want to watch. But in a bull market, things can happen. For those of you who might have never experienced a bull run, what can happen? Two things can happen here, right? Market can swing impulsively, right? Most times BTC, only BTC will make this movement and just give us a blow off top, right, before crashing down in the BS. Or market respects this bearish momentum it has already started with and just makes a pullback to maybe this neckline of this double top here and start falling down, right? So that, does it really, do we have concerns about that? Yes, if you have spot backs, you may be concerned about that. But if you are trading just futures, right, you have no business. All you just need to do is to follow the current reaction of the market and trade, right? Just like what I'm doing on the 4 hours time frame right now. So if I'm watching this, right, I know we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch on the trend line, right? With this point of interest that market failed to move from here, right, this point of interest that market failed to tap, right, it may still be valid as long as this trend line is still holding, right? So if I extend the trend line like this, right, my point of interest is still valid till like on the 27th, which means that if market still makes any bullish movement across this region and it mitigates this without breaking it, there might be a momentum to the downside, continue selling, right? Because we just have 1 2 3 4 touch getting weaker, but market can still break it depending on the demand level it's coming from. Now, what is another demand level that we can look at? So from the weekly time frame, if you map out all this demand level right here, is huge. Except you're a swing trader that you want to now enter all the way like this, stop loss below 70k or 72k region, then you want to target all-time high. You only be getting like a 1:3 trade and you'll be holding for weeks, right? So if you don't want to do that, it means you want to look for smaller time frame entries. It means go to the daily time frame and trying to look for how we can reduce this point of interest, right? This was the one that's taken out. A trend line is marked here. Sorry if I'm fast. I don't know. It's been long, right? So what other point of interest can we look at? So if I go back to the 4 hours time frame, my analysis time frame, I love using that. Okay, I know that market has invalidated a clean imbalance, like there was no bullish reaction from this imbalance, right? Internal range liquidity is supposed to move market to another external range liquidity. There was no pull, right? Market took it out aggressively and goes to lower region. So if I take this out, I know that this particular point of interest here has been mitigated, right? Just like this one, and we have seen how market took out this aggressively also, right? You can see market did not even respect this particular point of interest here. So I'll be looking for market to maybe go down as low as this other region. All these guys may act as what, liquidity, because when market shifted this structure here, this was it, shift, break of structure right here. We also have another shift when we had this double bottom shift, the pullback, this, the market made a new move, then started ranging. So if I look at this, the imbalance here was quite filled. I can be looking at this point here as a level of imbalance right here. So if I pick out the midpoint, that will be resting at a region of 80k BTC, 8200, right? So I'll put my POI like this, right? Stop loss will just be resting below this 1 hour 4 hour candles that created that particular imbalance, and I'll be dragging it all the way. So this might be a point of interest that market is likely to react. Extend it like this, okay, right? For this mitigated, you can see our market is reacting off this region, so we can see a lot of dump. Market can still dump all the way to 80k, the 80k region, right? If market does not respect any point of interest here, all these guys are looking at something the market will sweep, right? So if you look at this, because of the sell momentum coming, right? So this will be another buy point of interest. But for now, do you want to be looking for buys? No, right? The clean POI we have here, market has taken out. The structure is bearish, so you should be looking for sell side trades, right? Sell side trades are going to favor you, just like how this one played out, very clean. And of course, this is a 4 hour trade. If you go, this is a 4 hours entry analysis. If you go to the 15 minutes time frame, you get to see more setups on the sell side that you may catch for more entries, right? But if you don't want to stress yourself, you just want to get the target, of course, 4 hours time frame, beautiful, just like how we got this point of interest right here. So you can see this is a POI that market might be looking at to respect if market is coming down, right? So what does this mean? If there's a form of buy, if there's any buy momentum, say market start pulling off like this, you'll not be shouting we're going to the moon, right? The market can still tap into this and make a move to this downside, right? It's a possibility. Or markets can just aggressively makes a little sell, tap into this region. So how do we know that market may make move to this side? Market needs to break a form of this liquidity here, this trend line liquidity that is forming here, this trend line movement, right? These trend line movements, market needs to take it out. These guys, you can see the trend line from here, right, all the way. Markets be respecting this trend line, so sold down, right? So if this trend line is taken out, take this one out right here. If this trend line is taken out by any buy momentum, shows me that market will be coming to this point of interest for a sell. Alright, but if that does not happen, market may be crashing all the way, respecting this mini trend line here. Then you'll be looking at catching sells from what? This bearish order flow region. Of course, you want to wait for inducements before liquidity, before entry or catching out a trade. Okay, so this is just the analysis for BTC, right? From on the 10th, bit4 just fix, stop loss hit here. There was so many opportunities to break even on this trade, right? After the entry, market came back, did not tap in its stop loss, went back up. I was not even observing this trade. There was a sell setup right here. Of course, I was expecting my 4 hours imbalance to at least take out external liquidity across this trend line, but did not. There was no buy momentum and the sellers were just kicking things in, right? So if this trend line, but if markets, right, if markets dance, accumulates and really breaks this trend line, this point of interest would not be valid anymore across this region like this, right? Because market has taken out this. So what will happen is all these guys will be trend line liquidity and will be targeting all-time highs. That's right. Okay, so this that and that you observe what you need to look at. A lot of people just trading noise, and when you just, for me, there were just two trades on BTC since on the 10th, right, on the 10th of November till today, 20, right? Today is 20, 10 days. In 10 days, there's just two trades on BTC, except you're going to smaller time frames. Sometimes you get taken out because you're not seeing structures really, really clean, right? So that's that for the trade review and the market structure analysis on BTC. See you guys later.